Shalom, back again with another lesson. Before I begin this lesson, I'd like to begin by giving all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. I'm going to give double honors to my elders and apostles who rule well, who I've learned this truth from. I want to say peace and salutations to Akim, you brothers out there laboring, pushing this word out in all truth and in sincerity, presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice. I want to say shalom to you Israelite sisters that may be listening, and also to you Israelites that are scattered across the four corners of the earth. You may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the chosen seed line, shalom. So I wanted to do this lesson today. Today is the 25th of December. I'm just sat here and I'm just catching up on social media. I've been sort of off social media recently. I had to detox my brain a little bit. But I've come back, and one of the main things that I've seen on social media that's caught my eye, which is what inspired me to do this lesson today, was the fact that, a lot of people are in debt, right? And this holiday that people are celebrating today, or this holiday, should I say, because it's not a holiday, it's a pagan day, right? Saturnalia. But a lot of people have put themselves into debt, right? By their loved ones or their children, the extravagant gifts, right? So that spirit or that demon of Saturnalia, Saturn worship, has been placed on the people, and a lot of our people, partake in that, the feast days, the giving, obviously in the next few days, what you're going to start seeing on social media is the spirit of, what's the word, selfishness or ungratefulness, right? That spirit is going to start rearing its ugly head on social media, and you're going to see like how some people have gone out their way to buy gifts for their loved ones, only for their loved ones to reject it and say, "Oh, I didn't want this," or "This is not what I wanted," or "Why'd you get me this?" You know what I mean? Like just that ungrateful spirit. That's gonna rear its ugly head. But that's not what this lesson is about, right? So people, you know, obviously to show that they care, they celebrate or they partake in this holiday, and they put themselves into debt. Like around this time, a lot of people go into debt. They're already in a recession, or they're unable to pay their rent. They're unable to do this. So a lot of people are going to be upset by this, right? That spirit of anger is going to be on the the point of what I'm trying to say, because I'm just rambling on a little bit here, is the fact that you know people are heavily reliant on the fact that they currently have jobs. And what I notice on social media is that I'm starting to see a lot of projections about, job loss or layoffs, company layoffs in the new
I think
year.
2026 is going to see the biggest collapse of the corporate world in the history of business, because
No doubt. No doubt.
I think this is going to be, and we should have maybe an end of year perspective and some predictions. But
Yeah, we'll do
for
that.
all of the madness we've seen in 2025, it's like this is the slowest it's ever going to be. In 2026 is going to be 10x to 50x to 100x
There are
crazier.
growing concerns about the job market. A leading consulting firm says U.S. employers announced nearly 1.2 million layoffs as of December 1st. That is the highest level since the pandemic and the most since the start of the Great Recession. Payroll processor ADP says the private sector lost 32,000 jobs last month alone.
A lot of companies, they'll have you work through the busy period. Then after that, where they try to save money, they'll cut the staff. So you're going to start seeing a lot of people losing jobs, right? So people that are buying these gifts for their loved ones that are ungrateful, putting themselves in debt, are going to find out in the new year when the jobs start being laid off, right? Or they start being layoffs and redundancies. People are going to find themselves in very tricky positions, right? Very difficult places. Now, with also the increase of AI and AI taking over a lot of systems, like for example, Amazon are getting ready to fire, a whole bunch of people, right? Because now they're moving to robotics.
you see are actually AI-powered trucks, completely driverless. These trucks are made by an MIT-backed company called IC, best known for autonomous vehicle logistics. Multinational companies are already partnering with this company due to its safety features and superior performance compared to previous systems.
5 driverless semis rolling down I-45. Tech firm Aurora just launched regular deliveries between Dallas and Houston.
But what about safety on the roads? Victor Jacobo asked the company's president.
Last week on the I-45 Houston-Dallas corridor,
we did something no one in the world has ever done before.
Aurora Innovation had a semi-truck without a human driver haul frozen pastries on its own, the first time a company has operated a commercial self-driving service with heavy-duty trucks on public roads.
They don't need this stuff. They don't need people packing boxes because they just get the robots to do it, right? You also have the truck drivers. Like Amazon's working on getting these automated trucks, right? 18-wheelers, like these automated 18-wheelers. I think there was a movie that showed something like that. It might have been Logan or iRobot, something like that, where they have the automated trucks delivering goods. Already got the ports that can unload the cargo ships without human intervention, right? I see a report as well in London, right? This is in London, that the company Uber is looking at introducing driverless cars.
Did you get into a driverless taxi after a night out? Well, from next year, Uber are going to be trialling their robo-taxis. That is a car with no human driver at the wheel. Driverless cars are already on the roads in several different countries, and Uber already operates them in Texas, where you pay the same fare with or without a driver. There's still a lot of discussion around safety. Some studies say they're less accident-prone, other people have reported them malfunctioning, or getting locked in like this guy.
I got my seatbelt on, I can't get out the car. Has this been hacked? What's going on? I feel like I'm in the movies.
Plus, transport unions have argued that it could lead to job losses. So far, just London is going to get the new taxis, where driverless cars with a human inside watching have already been trialled. But what's not yet clear is whether the vehicles in Uber's trial are going to be available for customer use. The firm says it's still figuring out the details.
Right? So all these AI jobs are getting ready to start replacing a lot of people. Nobody's job is secure. Even if you think, well, this company needs me, right? I'm in a really good position. Nobody's job is safe, right? Because at any moment, the company can make a decision, oh, we're going to go with AI. Now we don't need you anymore, right? So the point of this lesson, essentially, is just to go in and speak on some of the things that we're starting to see. Now, as always, when I do a lesson like this, I always like to add clips so you can see what I mean. Like some of the clips that I've highlighted, what I've seen online that prompted me to want to do this lesson. So, I'll play some of those, Lord willing, through this lesson, just to show you what I mean. But that time is coming. And I don't think people really grasp how 2026 is going to turn out. Since the introduction of the C19, the C19, in 2020, every year it's just got progressively worse. So what makes people believe in their mind that it's going to be better in 2026, I don't know, but obviously we'll see what happens, right? So I'm going to start in the scriptures, and I'm going to read in the book of Ecclesiastes. I'm going to read chapter 3, and we'll start from the top, right? Because it says, this is verse 1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven, right? So there's always a season. And we're coming into that season of mourning because people are going to start, bugging out. Like, you just spent all this money and bought Christmas presents for ungrateful people, and now you find out news that potentially going to be laid off. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's the season we're coming into, right? It says verse 2, it says a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. It says a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. Verse 4 says a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. The time of laughing and dancing, yeah, we passed that. A time to weep, yeah, we're coming into that season. And a time to mourn, we're definitely coming into that season because it's about to get ugly out here, right? The more every day that passes, the closer we are to the end of this thing, right? The closer we are to the end of this thing, you can see everything that's transpiring in the earth. They're getting ready to introduce the digital system, the micro C hip. That's more than likely going to be spoken about more in 2026 with the advances of AI and technology and all this other stuff, right? You see how they're moving, like that certain nation, you know, the one from 1948ers, right? Those people, you see how they're moving online. They're about to police the world right now. They're getting ready. They're getting all the chess pieces in place to start policing everywhere. Like they're the epitome of the world police, basically. You can't say nothing about them. No one. And somehow they've got the whole world hyped up on this thing where if you say something negative towards them, or what's the word that I'm looking for? Controversial. Yeah, if you say anything controversial about them, it's a wrap, buddy. They're gonna come after your life. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking about like ruining your life, not ending your life. Maybe that could be the case, but I'm talking in the sense of like, hey, you can't get a job because you criticized this particular group of people. You can't get a job here. No, because remember they're building that platform to capture data to make a list of all the people that have said negative stuff, posted negative stuff online about these specific group of people, right? And they're using AI to do it, right? So the point that I wanted to get to was in verse 4. It says a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, right? And again, we ain't in a time of laughing and dancing, right? That time is coming to an end, right? So as we continue, right, I'm gonna jump to the book of Ecclesiastes because Ecclesiastes got some fire. I love the book of Ecclesiastes, right? I'm gonna jump to chapter 12. I'm gonna start from the top because it says here, right? I'll highlight it. This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. It says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not." So the evil days haven't reached us yet, but we are well on the cusp of the evil days coming. 2026. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a hell of a year, right? It says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while you're still young, while you still got the opportunity to repent and come back to the Lord, right? To Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and get this truth while you still can. Because when they start taking the men of the Lord off the highways and hedges, you ain't gonna have this knowledge. What does it say in the scriptures? Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times, right? If you ain't got the understanding, you're gonna be lost. You're gonna be stuck. It's up and it's stuck, right? Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, right? People are able to buy Christmas presents at this point, or Saturnalia presents, right? They're able to buy these presents to give to their family. Soon, you're not gonna be able to do that because you're not your method of income is dwindling. Like those numbers are dwindling, with the advances of technology. It says, verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. It's lucky, let me read that again. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, right? So when the grinding cease, the economy's slowing down. Jobs ain't being created right now. I think in 2025, it was reported, I'd say roughly around maybe 1.1 million jobs were lost. You remember Eve went through it, all the so-called black women, like 300,000 of them lost their jobs, right? They had the DEI, the DEI situation that they were letting people go left and right. If you ain't qualified, if you ain't blah blah blah, they changed the college requirements to be uh, like a nurse, right? To be a nurse, they took that off the you know what I mean, like the qualifications list. I forget roughly what it was, but it was something about the medical field that they reduced and said that the qualification wasn't good enough or something to that effect. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was something to that effect, right? So it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, people are starting to worry at the fact that they're about to lose their jobs, right? I'm gonna play some clips, right? As you can see, right? It's in it's in on social media now. It's starting to show itself, right? It says, and the strong men shall bow themselves, right? The strong man, the people that are making all the money, the ones that are flexing online, they're gonna be looking broke, man. You're gonna come back down to reality. And those like surgically dismantling Babylon, aka America, is destabilizing their economy and he's bringing them down low, right? It says, and the grinders cease because they are few. So the jobs are low. Like there's some clips that I see where like women, or not women, not all women, but people, should I say, have been looking for jobs for months and ain't been able to find anything.
For the last few weeks, Heidi Roberts' full-time job has been trying to find one.
I literally apply at jobs from 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock every day. And I think I've done about 56 to 60 jobs already. And I've only had 7 callbacks. So it's just been really disheartening.
She's been at it every day since October.
Wishing you all the best in your future endeavors. Yeah.
When she was laid off from a financial company here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Did you have any idea anything was happening?
I had no idea. None at all. Didn't even see it coming. I never thought it would be me.
It says, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. So people looking to the future, thinking, oh yeah, it's going to get better. The economy's going to boom, jobs going to be created, blah, blah, blah. They're looking out into the horizon thinking there's no hope. There is no hope. Like they had them Koreans come over, building up a factory in Georgia, and that woman called the ICE, and they all got detained. And what did that do? That was a billion dollar deal that was being set up, and all they did was came over to build the factories to give jobs to Americans. Now that's up in the air. They don't even know if Korea's going to pull out of that. I don't even know what's going on with that situation, but they don't even know if they want to continue with that. That's crazy, isn't it? Right? So drop down to verse 4. Ecclesiastes 12:4 says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. Closing businesses, going out of business sale. Seeing a lot of those recently. It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. Get up early every day. The early bird gets the worm. They get up early every day looking for a job. No results, right? It says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Like the music industry is finished. I remember seeing months ago, this is probably around the summertime, I remember seeing there was a DJ online. Like anybody from the UK may have heard of DJ AG, right? So he used to take his DJ equipment out in the streets and he'd just play music, and he'd let people come up and he would allow them to sing, on the microphone and all this other stuff, get their, 5 minutes of fame on TikTok, right? And he built up his following. And now he does like a lot of celebrities. So he has a lot of celebrities appear up for guest appearances. I think he had Will Smith out there performing his music. I think it was D Double. If anybody who's familiar with the UK, D Double E. He's a grime MC, and he's promoting his album. So he come up to DJ AG's set. He's promoting his album, and at the end of it, I think he was like, yeah, go out and buy the album, because a lot of artists are struggling at the moment. A lot of artists are not making the money. Like when you're on Spotify, you have to pay or you have to play X amount of plays in order to see anything, right? So the album sales help, but the album sales are low because nobody's buying the music. Nobody's got the money to. Nobody's buying CDs and MP3s now. Nobody's buying them. So these artists that you're familiar with are struggling financially. They have that lifestyle's being brought low, right? You know, it says the daughters of music. So all that R&B, that's gone. They don't even really make R&B anymore, right? And the women, you know, have beautiful voices, but nobody's buying the music. So now what have they switched to? You have people like Sexy Red. You have people like you know, artists that just promote trash, like Cardi B, you know, or who else can I name? Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, all these women, right, with their ratchet music. Nobody's listening to it anymore. The grinding is ceasing. Even the online what's it called? OnlyFans, right, where the women obviously provide photos of themselves, and a lot of women were convinced that, oh, joining OnlyFans, you'll be rich overnight. You'll be seeking millions, right? Not understanding that that's only 1% of the creators that receive that amount, right? You know, looks play a appearance into it. So the average women thinking that they're gonna join OnlyFans and make it big in the game, they're barely receiving anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like that whole thing, OnlyFans or whatever it is losing money. Women are not gaining anything. I was watching not OnlyFans, no. I'll be watching that. But there was a girl that did OnlyFans, and she came on and did a podcast. She joined a podcast, and she was saying how it ruined her life because now all that stuff that she posted online, you can't get rid of it. Your digital footprint is going to follow you for the rest of your life. So now when she wants to find a man to settle down with, nobody wants her because they've seen it all. You know, they've seen it all. And she was saying it's struggling because obviously nobody's buying this stuff because nobody's got money to buy it, right? So these women that were relying on these get rich quick schemes are losing, right? They're failing, right? And they have nothing to show for it. They had, like, I remember seeing a podcast where an OnlyFans, I think it was like Fresh and Fit that I was watching, like the red pill stuff, red pill content. And they were saying, like, some of the girls on there were saying that they were earning hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. And now they have nothing to show for it. Like I'm thinking in my mind, if I was to receive hundreds of thousands of dollars or pounds per month, do you know what I could do with that? Sheesh, boy. I would definitely flip that money and do something with it. But obviously, when you have a materialistic mindset, you just want the flash. You just want to stunt on people. You just want to show them that you're better than them. You're doing better than them. You're smarter than them. But what does the Lord say? It says, let's see, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. This is Ecclesiastes 12:4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. Like the scriptures say these things, not just to say them, like it's giving you warning, it's giving you the heads up, right? It's giving you the heads up. I'm going to leave it there at verse 4. I'm going to continue, right? So I'm going to jump over now to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 18. It says, and it said, behold, the days come, right? The days are coming, that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. Like everything that's going wrong with the earth and the society today, the Lord is visiting, and he's causing all these things to fail, right? Because Babylon's reached its time limit, the time that it cannot pass, the bounds that it cannot pass. Babylon has reached its time limit. His time is ticking away, right? Like it's ticking down to the last seconds, right? We're at the end, right? There's only a few more prophecies that need to take place, the major prophecies that need to take place before, Yahweh Shai and angels turn up, right? And all hell breaks loose, right? This is, I'm going to jump down to verse 22. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Nobody's got any jobs to deliver or staff to stock the shelves. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to cause problems. It's going to cause massive problems. Right? It says, verse 23, and the trumpet shall give a sound. Right? The trumpet could be like your local news. Right? Your local news. More job losses. In America, let's say Walmart is going out of business. Sam's Club is laying off there's like 50% of their staff. You know what I mean? All these food places, like in the UK, Tesco's, Asda, Sainsbury's, 50%. They have to cut back on the amount that they're spending. Because of obviously the fallen economy, the stock markets fluctuating at the moment. Right? That could be the trumpet. It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall suddenly be afraid. Oh no, what are we going to do? How am I going to keep up this lifestyle? How am I going to keep up appearances if I don't have money? I'm going to be broke. The woman that I love only desires me for the resources that I can provide. The one main resource that I had to gather resources, I'm being let go from. You know what I mean? I'm losing my job. Ain't no woman's gonna want to stay with a man that's broke. We hear it every day when you go on social media and the algorithm feeds you them requirements that women of today, modern women, the requirements that they want, right? They need providers. If you ain't got the money to provide, then you know what I mean? Like, hey, the feeling that they felt in the start of the relationship ain't there anymore. Now you just like draining her. You know what I mean? She's got to get out of there. If you think that your woman wouldn't leave you for being broke, you might have to learn the hard way. Not wishing that on anyone out there, but hey, that's the truth, right? It says 2nd Ezra 6 and 23, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall suddenly be afraid. Right? Verse 24, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. Oh, you got some food over there. Oh, come on, bro. Spare me a couple tins of beans. Give me some bread. Give me some sugar. You know what I mean? Like, your friend will become your foe because now it's every man for himself. A man's going to protect his family. Hey, you're the neighbor. We've been buddies for years, but my family comes first. Nah, my family comes first, actually. Do you know what I mean? It says, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. It says, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape, and see my salvation and the end of your world. Right? And that's talking about the elect. The elect are going to escape, right? The elect are going to escape through this. They're going to see the destruction of Babylon. America is going down, right? That's it. Done. America's finished. It's got its walking papers right now, But yet you got the men out here, the men of the Lord, that are out on the highways and hedges, prophesying, warning the people, as stated in the book of Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17 on down, right? They're warning the people, letting them know, like, this thing is coming. You either take heed of what we're saying and do it, or don't take heed to it, right? But we have a job as men of the Lord. We have a job to come out here and warn the people, right? Because otherwise, if we don't warn you, then your blood is on our hands, right? But I'm going to jump over now to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. We'll start from the top, verse 1. right? Because this is let me highlight this. Right, it says, "Behold," this is 2 Ezra 15:1. "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy." That's what we're doing out on highways and hedges, and when we do these videos, these lessons online, right? "Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." The scriptures, right? You have these words. You could clearly see them on my screen, right? They're warnings. They're warning the people, right? And when it says in the scriptures, you can clearly see when you look back through history and everything that's happened since the inception of the Most High's creation, right? You could see all of the events that are written in the scriptures have taken place. Like from when you read the book of Daniel and it's talking about the kingdoms, right? Daniel, the second chapter where Daniel had the vision. And then, you have that statue, right? It shows you the different empires that have taken place. And all of that happened in history, right? When we talk about the digital system being implemented, getting ready to be implemented, that's going to put everybody in slavery that accepts the MARK, the micro C hip, right? What it's going to do. And that is literally being spoken of to this day. In I think it's Switzerland, Sweden, one of those places. They've already got it. Like they're operating on a cashless society. And they've already had the people that agree with it have accepted it. That's the way they live right now. And now they're just trying to push that on a global scale, right? It's written in the scriptures in the book of Revelation chapter 13. It says what they're going to do, right? I'm going to read verse 2 again, 2 Ezra 15:2. "And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." Right? "Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity, unbelief, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee." So we ain't worried about what people say about us. Yeah, you guys are crazy. You guys are always yelling at people. You only preach salvation to black people. Whatever you say, don't worry that they don't believe, man. Because what does it say? Verse 4, it says, "For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness." Right? Just like when you read in the book of Ezekiel. Matter of fact, we'll go there. Ezekiel 3:17. Right? So Ezekiel 3:17, it says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me." As we continue, verse 18, "When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand." So if you don't warn these people, and they die because they're being wicked, that blood is on your hands because you didn't warn them, right? Verse 19, this is the flip side. It says, "Yet, if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul." You see that? So if I warn you, and you still continue to do what you're doing and just be wicked, guess what? Your blood is off my hands. We've washed your blood off our hands. You're going to have to eat that, whatever judgment the Lord has set for you, right? 2 Ezra 15:4, "For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness." Right? Verse 5, it says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." This was coming. You know what I mean? So 2026, I'm not saying, it's going to explode and it's just going to be bad, but it ain't getting better. You can see over the years, the past 5 or 6 years, you can see how each year the world has gotten worse. It's getting continually on a downward decline because Babylon is falling, right? It's falling. Like the Babylon, aka America, is hated in the world, man. Like people are talking out the side of their mouth against America, right? Against Babylon. And why is that? Verse 6 says, "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." You know, look what they've been doing behind closed doors that's being brought to the light. The EP EP the EP files. I'll just say the EP files, right? The ones that the president basically tried to silence. But obviously it still got released, and now people are starting to discover who was on the list of what they were doing. Right? It says, "For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." Meaning the Lord has had enough of what they've been up to behind closed doors, and they think they're untouchable. They got the boasted up in pride and all this other stuff. And verse 7 says, "Therefore, saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves." It says, "Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually." And that's what the men of the Lord are doing. We're continuously complaining about how Esau's running this place, and asking the Lord, praying to the Lord, how long is this going to continue? And the Lord's getting ready to answer. Hey, the Lord's sick of it too. You know, just like we're sick of it, the Lord's sick of it too. Because we hate what the Lord hates, right? So I'm only going to bring out a few more scriptures, and I'm going to close it out there because I think I've made the point, right? So like I say, you know, with everything that's getting ready to happen in the earth, you have to be rooted in the Lord, man. You have to repent and pray that the Lord is dealing with you, that the Lord will show mercy on you and help you through the times that the whole earth is getting ready to experience, right? So I'm going to look in the book of Proverbs. I'm going to start in the book of Proverbs chapter 3. I'll start from the top, verse 1. It says, "My son, forget not my law. It says, "My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments." And we know that we can't keep them perfectly, but we keep them to the best of our ability, right? You know, if shaving your beard is a sin, don't shave your beard. It's that simple, you know. But obviously there are some commandments that we can't keep because obviously they pertain to women, right? Or, you know, they pertain to certain situations, like, you know, woman's menstrual cycle. You know, certain laws that we can't keep regarding that. You know what I mean? So we keep the laws to the best of our ability, and we keep, you know, the commandments, but you know, we can't keep them all. It's that simple, right? Verse 2, it says, actually, I'll start from the top again. So, "My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee." Right? It says, "Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck, write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of the Most High and man." Right? So you want to try and keep the commandments to the best of your ability, right? Because it shows that you have wisdom, shows you have sense about you, shows you how to act towards your brother and your sister, right? How you treat people, you know, how you honor the Lord, right? And it says, right, write them on you know, write them upon the table of thine heart, right, which is your mind. Put them in your mind. It says, "Bind them about thy neck and write them upon the table of thine heart," your mind. Verse 4, "So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of the Most High and man," right? Verse 5, "Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding," right? Because these people out here, they ain't got a clue. They're going to try and lean on their own understanding to figure it out. But the Lord ain't going to be dealing with them. The Lord's going to be, you know, speaking to his people, the ones that are keeping the commandments to the best of their ability. The Lord's going to be putting, you know, them thoughts, because you understand, man's goings are of the Lord. These people don't understand that the Lord is directing their steps. They don't understand that. They're going to make these steps to their detriment, right? It says, "In all thy ways," verse 6, "in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths," right? So you want to acknowledge the Lord. You want to not let it out your mind that the Lord is dealing with you, right? You got to trust in faith in the years to come. you're going to have to take a step out on faith. That faith is going to be one thing that the Lord is testing. If you got the faith, if you believe that the Lord's going to look after you, you think the Lord's going to leave you to it, right? Verse 7, it says, be not wise in thine own eyes, fear Yahweh, and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel, and marrow to thy bones. Honor Yahweh with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase. Right? That's powerful. That's why the scriptures say what they say, right? Now I'm going to jump to the book of Ecclesiasticus, Salakia. And I think we'll probably end it off here. I'll just read this one. So this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, my son, right? And that refers to the Israelites. Yeah? It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. The hour of temptation, meaning the RFID micro C hip. Are you going to take it, or are you going to trust the Lord's got you? Right? It says, my son, if thou comes to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Right? So just, believe that the Lord's got you, man. Don't make haste. Don't be ready to turn back. I didn't sign up for this, and turn back to the world, because you're finished if you do that. Right? What's it say in verse 3? Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So when the world starts getting tough, you just keep the faith in the Lord. Just keep seeking the Lord. Cleave to him. Cleave to him. Like, grab on tight. Don't let him go. Grab on tight. It says, and whatever is brought upon you, whatever you go through, whatever it be good, whether it be negative, just hold on to the Lord and just be patient. The amount of times that the Lord has brought me through trials and tribulations, the amount of time that I've trusted in the Lord when I needed him the most, and he's always brought me out on the other side even better position than I was when I went in, before I went in. Come on, man. That builds up your faith, because you understand that the Lord is hearing you. The Lord is dealing with you, right? Now that's going to be challenged. You're going to have to step out on faith, right? Verse 5. Why is that? It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. You want that fine gold, you got to purify it. You got to run it through that process. You got to burn it. You got to put that heat on it. You got to turn that heat up to get out the impurities. But when you can go through that, hey, the Most High is now seeing acceptable men, because you've been through the furnace of adversity, right? Let me read that again. It's Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 5. It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Women, you all go through different trials. We all go through different trials, Something that, I consider hard may be easy for somebody else. Something a woman goes through, hey, don't falter. Trust in the Lord. Seek the Lord. Don't give up, right? But something I go through, you know what I mean, is destined for me. And another man might think, oh, bro, how are you struggling with that? Certain men go through things, right? But it says, for gold is tried in the fire. We all got, different temperatures that we can handle, right? It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity, right? So we all go through our trials, man. It says, believe in him. That's beautiful. What does that say? Verse 6, believe in him, and he will help thee. You hear that? The scriptures don't lie. They say exactly what they say for a reason. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. When you think it's dark and you don't know what's going to happen next, trust in the Lord. That's where the faith comes in. Because you step out. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I trust that the Lord's got me. And I promise you, the Lord, if he says he's got you, he's got you. Yeah? Verse 7, it says, ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall. So those ones that turn around going through that trouble and they're like, I didn't sign up for this. This is too hard. This is too difficult. Right? It says, go not aside, lest you fall. Because you will fall without the Lord. In the times that we're coming into, you will fall if you don't have the Lord with you. Verse 8, it says, ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. I love this scripture. Or I love the book of Ecclesiasticus, right? It says, ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Understand, when you're going through the trials that we're about to go through, look at it like this. Soon the kingdom is coming. If you're found worthy and the Lord, shows up with them chariots and you get beamed up, instantly you're changed in a twinkling of an eye. You're instantly changed. And it's easy street from there. When you receive that crown, it's easy street. Verse 10, it says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Question mark. It's a rhetorical question. Because no, the answer is no. Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Again, rhetorical. No. It says, or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? You call on the right name of the Lord. You ask for mercy, help. The Lord's got you, man. You ain't despise somebody calling on him. What does it say? It says, verse 11, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy. It says, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. I don't think you heard me. Let me read that again. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 11. For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. I know who I put my trust in, right? So this was more of a lesson like, look, in 2026, you could get that email. You could get that notification. You could get that call. Hey, the job market's freezing up. We have to, make some redundancies. You're losing your job. You're gonna have to find something else. Listen, wherever the Lord throws your way, whatever trial that the Lord's getting ready to put you through, read the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 2. And trust me, if it don't make you feel better, then I don't know what to tell you. But whenever I read that, I always think to myself, the Lord, has brought me through some times in my life, right? Some hard times where I didn't have answers. I didn't know how to get to a point where, like, how do I get out of this situation, right? Because ultimately you want to be in comfort, right? But it says there's a time for everything. There's a time for everything. Sometimes you ain't going to be comfortable. You're going to go through certain things. You're not going to know what to do. All you have to do is focus on the Lord, laser focus on the Lord, and trust that he's got you. Call upon him. If you're going through something, call upon him and put it to the test. If you're going through something now, put it to the test. Call upon the Lord and focus on him and believe that he's got you. Trust that he's got you. And I promise you, you will make it out and you'll be all right. Right? So, I pray that this lesson has been edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. And with that, it's on to the next one, Lord willing. And I'm going to say, Kohalo Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Shalom.